I'm Vinyl Killer here today with special guest
Nate WL777.
and today we're here to review Godzilla. Now, this was a movie that was released in 2019. It was released at the start of this weekend, and I think it was pretty good.
I think it was pretty good as well.
The characters, they're humans, so really they played plot in it, but they could have done without the humans, like my dad was saying earlier. Yeah,
I think that they were there to kind of advance the storyline, but not a whole lot more.
the monsters were cool. They did well with the monsters. I was afraid it was going to be over, like, CGI'd, how some things are, but I think it did pretty good.
You like the character, or you like the design of the monsters and everything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that that was done extremely well. This movie definitely knows what it is. This isn't an Oscar winner, so if you're looking for like a deep storyline, might not be up your alley. But as far as wanting to see monsters fight or get to see Godzilla and get to see any of these other titans that are out there, I think that actually is done very well.
The storyline was a little iffy, again, with the humans and stuff, but the monster storyline was really cool, like how there was the different titans and stuff. It was just well written. The whole monster part was well written. The whole human part was, like we were saying.
Yeah. I actually think there is a lot of depth to the storyline with, like you said, with the monster aspect. I felt the same way with King Kong Skull Island, where it was kind of like, even that, I don't think that the story was as deep in King Kong Skull Island. Basically, that was just about the fights, and that was it. I think this was much more fleshed out as far as the story overall was concerned. So I do think, like, if you go see the movie, you'll understand a little bit more where they draw in from the past and how things led up to where we're at and the reasoning for the things happening. I think that was done extremely well. The human characters in it, they're just there to advance the story, so there's not a lot of depth there, but it doesn't take away from the movie. I think the movie definitely knows what it is, and that focus on the monsters themselves is the very focus. I think they did a good job.
And it's well done. It's there's a Godzilla anime too, and if you like relate the two together, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, you know?
Yeah, I think that they definitely did. I think, like, the beginning of the anime kind of is taking from where these movies are left off. Now, I don't know if that was, like, a coordinated effort between producers and anime going out, because Godzilla didn't come out that long ago. It was just a couple years ago that the anime come out. I'm not quite sure of the date. But it does seem like they kind of lend to each other as far as the anime kind of taken up after the movie lines end. But we're not done yet, I don't think, with the Godzilla movies.
No,
so
we got Kong versus Godzilla
coming. Yeah,
2020.
2020. That'll be good. So as far as wanting the action scenes to look good and the Titans themselves to look good, I think they did such a very good job of that. It was very entertaining, and it was very action packed as far as the fight scenes are a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed the direction that they took this.
And as far as, is this okay for kids?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some jokes in there but if your kid doesn't get the jokes.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think that there's a whole lot terrible in there.
Not too bad.
There's some cursing and stuff like that, but I don't think anything awful.
It's not real gory. It's not real bloody.
No.
It's really just monsters fighting. So,
which was done well.
Mm-hmm. And as far as my favorite character, it's not a person. It's Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla is this big, massive monster full of energy and, like, has all these powers. And it's like, I think Godzilla is, I'm going to use the word sick.
Yes.
He's like the big baddie. He's the big bad of them all, except he's good. So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that, like I said, I think they did a really good job with Godzilla. And again, he's a lot different than in some of the other movies with his powers and with his abilities. But that, like you were talking about with the anime, I think that that matches up with what they were doing in the anime. So that the anime presented Godzilla with a certain ability set that when I first watched the anime, I was like, oh, I ain't never seen nothing like that come out of him. You know what I mean? Not in previous movies, which have stretched back to what, the 1940s or 1930s or 40s,
Yeah,
50s,
like
something
50s.
like that. 50s. You know more about those than I do. I'm actually, just to be clear, not the biggest fan of this genre and style. Chase has always really liked the Godzilla movies, and even the old ones he goes back and watches. And I remember when he was really kind of fairly young, I don't know what age you were, but he would want to watch those, and I had no interest. So I think, what was it, the one with 2000?
It was 2014.
2014. Yeah, that came out, and he convinced me to watch it. I wasn't going to watch it. Like I said, I've never really had much interest in these movies, and I actually thought that that was a pretty good movie. I'm much more of a character build kind of a person. I very much like characters and good storylines, and I actually really liked the characters in it. I thought that that was done very well, even though there was just a little bit of Godzilla. It wasn't like a huge amount of Godzilla in a Godzilla movie, which was pretty interesting. But I think leading into this movie and having that one be the predecessor, I think that was done very well.
And what you were saying, I think Godzilla was shown more in this. He definitely was able to own up to his title of Godzilla.
Sure.
From all of the fight scenes we see, he's Godzilla.
Sure. And then, okay, so you said your favorite character. My favorite character, and again, this movie is about the monsters. It's not about the human beings. Who cares about the humans? I felt like I cared more about the humans in this one than I did in King Kong Skull Island, which I felt like I actually specifically didn't even like the people in that one. This one, it was just kind of like, okay, they're there, and they were okay. I mean, it wasn't like awful. I do think some of the characters in King Kong Skull Island were awful. So this one's a little bit different in the sense that I wasn't annoyed by the characters. They just, in these movies, they don't really have much to do. They help advance the story, and that's it. And that's fine. That's all they need to do. They don't need to be doing much else. This doesn't need to be a big character development. But I liked, and you're going to have to help me out with the name. What is the bird?
Mothra?
No, the other one.
No, the bird, the fire demon.
Yeah. What's the name?
Was
it just Fire Demon?
I think they called it the Fire Demon.
They had another name for it. It was like something. I don't know.
The one that came out of the volcano?
Yeah.
They called it the Fire Demon.
Okay, well, the Fire Demon. That was my favorite, just kind of by the design of it and stuff like that. I thought that one was pretty cool, though. Mothra was pretty awesome too. I actually, like I said, I think that they did a really good job, especially with the design and the aesthetic of these monsters. I think looked really good.
And that leads us into our rating. I am rating this. My dad does ratings differently. He rates them with numbers. I rate them with like grades. I'm going to rate this a B+. Dad, what would you rate it?
I would probably just give it a B. I wouldn't. I mean, I understand if you want to give it a B+. You have when you're rating something, you have to kind of look at what it is and did it accomplish what it was trying to accomplish.
But it did. It entertained us like it was trying to.
You know what? I'll change that. I'll give it a B+ too. I think you're right. I think you're right on that. Yeah, I think it gets a B+. Like I said, if I am typically more of a type of person that likes deep stories. I like depth in characters. I'm more into like independent films and things like that. So I love that aspect. Action movies and things that are what you call a popcorn movie isn't really my favorite thing in the world. But they can take and they can entertain me. Then I have to give it a high grade. And like I said, I really walked out of this movie having a lot of fun and enjoying it. I think you compared it a little bit to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, where look, it's just fun. It's fun, and I could not complain about that because I like Jurassic World as well. Even though typically my kind of movie would not fall into those categories. I think that both of those movies do a good job, including this one. So yeah, I mean, I think a B+ here is a very solid score. Yeah, so I can agree with you.
And that would conclude our review. I'm going to leave his channel in the link in the description, and have a good night.
Yes, I will leave. He's going to leave my link there, and I do anime reviews, so I am actually going to be doing an anime review for Godzilla on the Netflix. So if you wanted to check that out and maybe dive further into the lore of Godzilla and maybe the future of Godzilla, we'll see how that turns out. Check it out. Give it a look, see, and see if you like it. Thank you for watching.